Stop cooking your tomatoes. Why? Well, in this video I'm showing you 5 ways to prepare tomatoes without any cooking and still make them taste incredible. And this is coming from someone who used to absolutely hate eating raw tomatoes. Now, of course, getting the best quality tomatoes is going to be key here. Ones that are ripe and in season is going to be most important. But if you can't find that, then I find that cherry tomatoes or small vine tomatoes have the best flavour. Okay, so now that I have spent my life savings on these beautiful tomatoes, we're going to start with the simplest method of preparation, and that is a quick marinade. Into a jar or Tupperware, add finely chopped parsley and basil, then a teaspoon of pomegranate molasses, which has an amazing tangy and fruity flavour. Then the juice of 1 lemon. I want this marinade to be really fresh and vibrant, so I'm not going to add any onion or garlic, but fear not, recipes later in the video will sort your garlic fix out. Next, just a good glug of olive oil, a pinch of sea salt, and a good grind of black pepper. Close the lid and shake to combine all those lovely flavours. To prepare the tomatoes, I'm simply removing the hard stem part and slicing them into thin wedges. This is a nice shape for just eating out the jar, spooning onto crusty bread, or adding to salads. Add them to the jar and just gently rotate so that the marinade coats all the tomatoes beautifully. Later in this video, I'm going to make a quick tofu cream cheese, which pairs perfectly with these tomatoes and some balsamic glaze. But first, let's make the best summer soup, gazpacho. Now, a good soup always has a good garnish, so I'm going to make a quick salsa by finely dicing some cucumber, red pepper, and tomato. If you want to remove the seeds, just run your knife just below the skin. This is optional, but it gives the salsa quite a clean look. Then I'm going to add some finely sliced basil, a pinch of sea salt, pepper, and a nice glug of extra virgin olive oil, and lastly a splash of red wine vinegar. So there is your really quick salsa. Essentially everything going in the soup is going in this salsa, so you don't need to buy any additional ingredients. Now, the first step of this soup is to soak some stale bread in water. This is going to help thicken and make the soup nice and creamy. Into a blender, add the tomatoes. I cut them into quarters just to help the blender. I know, very kind of me. Then the cucumber. Personally, I like to remove the skin so that the soup remains as red as possible. Next, red onion, red pepper, then some fresh chili and garlic. Once your bread has been soaking for about 10 minutes, simply press to remove some of the liquid and add to the blender. You don't have to add the bread, but your soup will be slightly thinner than mine if you don't. Final few ingredients I'm adding are some fresh basil, red wine vinegar or sherry vinegar, same quantity of extra virgin olive oil, and a good amount of seasoning. So now all you need to do is give it a good blend. Turns out watching gazpacho blend in slow motion is rather satisfying. I've got quite a high powered blender, so it's going to be nice and smooth. If yours isn't quite as high powered, then feel free to pass it for a sieve afterwards. Also, if you're going to eat it straight away, you could add some ice cubes to prevent it from overheating. And of course, adjust the seasoning as needed. I like mine really tangy, so I added some more vinegar. And then the next step is key, and that is to put your gazpacho into the fridge for all the flavors to come together. Overnight is ideal. Now just ladle into bowls and top with your tomato salsa. You could also make some herby croutons or some herb oil, that would be nice. I've also heard of people putting ice cubes in, which is particularly nice on a hot day. Wow. It's got quite a kick to it from the onion, the chili, the garlic and the red wine vinegar, but I really like it. It sort of smacks you around the face and wakes you up. Really delicious. The perfect summer soup in my opinion. This next recipe is so simple, but honestly the most delicious thing ever. It's pan con tomate, in other words, bread with tomato. So the key with this is getting some good quality ingredients. I've got some nice ciabatta here, and I'm just going to toast it until nicely golden. For this recipe, you want really ripe tomatoes. Mine were decent, but could have been a little bit riper. And then we're just going to simply grate them into a pulp. Once you get to the skin, you can either eat it or add it to a soup or stew. The fresh, concentrated tomato is so delicious. All that's needed is a nice sprinkle of Maldon salt or some sort of flaky sea salt. Once your bread is toasted, cut a garlic clove in half and rub it all over the bread. This is like a Cheats garlic bread. The rough surface of the bread will grab onto that garlic and infuse with the flavour, and then we're just going to simply spoon on the fragrant tomato pulp and eat it straight away. You won't be able to resist. And don't forget a good drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Incredibly good. Simple, good quality ingredients, prepared simply, just absolutely delicious. As well as using the grater method, you can also simply rub the tomato onto the toast, this works best with a really ripe tomato. Next up, we've got another really simple tomato preparation method, and that is a salsa, also known as a pico de gallo. I've got a really tasty variation that you must try. To prepare the tomatoes, once again, just remove the hard stem and just give them a rough dice. Don't have to be too precise. Personally, I don't worry about removing the seeds, as I feel it's a bit wasteful, and as long as you've got good tomatoes, it's going to taste great. If you can find some jalapenos, then great. I've just got some green chili with the seeds removed, as I don't have a massive tolerance to spice. Next, I'm adding some white and red onion. I find they offer slightly different flavours, the red giving a punchier kick and vibrant colour, and then the sweet white onions a milder flavour. Then a good handful of fresh coriander, just bunch it up and finely chop. I use the stalks as long as they're not too woody, and if you don't like coriander, then use something like parsley or chives. A little zested garlic and the zest of a lime and its juice. Although we've got raw onion and garlic in the salsa, the lime juice and salt will essentially cook and mellow out these strong flavours. Not sure if my camera picks this up, but this lime was absolutely massive. It was essentially the size of an apple. Final touches are a pinch of ground cumin, some oregano, Mexican variety if you can find it, and some flaky sea salt. And there is your salsa, perfect with tortilla crisps on chili or just freshly cooked veggies. So delicious. Now, if you've got a bit of a sweet tooth, you must try adding some mango or pineapple to your salsa. I've got some frozen mango that I've just defrosted, diced, and stirred through. It pairs perfectly with the lime flavour and helps mellow out the onion and garlic. That is so good. That is truly delicious. It's sweet, it's tangy, it's got a nice kick coming from the garlic, the onion, and the chili. And I'd highly recommend adding that mango. Definitely give this a go. Finally, we're going to make a quick tofu cream cheese to pair with the marinated tomatoes that we made earlier in the video, almost as a mozzarella replacement. To the firm tofu, we're going to add miso for a salty tang and nutritional yeast for a bit of cheesiness. A little shake of granulated garlic, and then olive oil for that luxurious mouthfeel, and the juice of at least one lemon, but probably more. Lastly, a good grating of black pepper and just blend until smooth. You can do this in a food processor, but it will be more of a sort of ricotta-like texture. I ended up adding more miso, nutritional yeast, and lemon juice just to help mask the flavour of the tofu. So there is your tofu cream cheese. Pop it in the fridge for half an hour or an hour if you like it a little bit firmer. And since I'm a chef, I of course had to put it in a piping bag, as that's just what chefs do. This would make a really nice summery starter to have before a main dish. Just layer the tomatoes with the tofu cream cheese, sprinkle over some extra herbs, and then finish with a drizzle of balsamic glaze. That tofu cream cheese is just beautifully velvety, pairs perfectly with the fresh tomatoes, the basil, and then you've got that tangy balsamic vinegar to just sort of cut through the creaminess. If you enjoyed this video, then I've got a similar video where I show you how to make canned beans taste amazing. Check it out here.